Hey guys, today we are going to be ranking the Alice in Chains albums.
Yep, Alice in Chains, a legendary rock band formed in Seattle in 1987, and they're still doing their thing to this very day. Alice in Chains are a very important band for me. I remember when Jar of Flies was first released, I was like 10 years old, seeing that video for No Excuses on TV and hearing it on the radio made a big impression on me. Very dark, but very intriguing. And I've always been a fan, but we've had a whole 6 month period of listening to a ton of Alice in Chains around our house and in the car. And that was when Patrick, just out of the blue last summer, came up to me and said, "Hey, Dad, do you own Alice in Chains Dirt on CD?" And I said, "Of course I do." And we took that on a road trip, and we've been sharing the magic of Alice in Chains ever since. So we're going to do our ranking, the 6 full-length albums. We're also going to include Jar of Flies, Sap, and Unplugged, as I think those are all three are amazing releases that are important parts of the Alice in Chains puzzle. And this book is about 10 years old now, put out in 2015, but I personally just got around to reading it. Alice in Chains, The Untold Story, unauthorized biography by David DeSola, and I really liked it. I thought it was just very well balanced, talking about the personalities, the music, the business, the history. Not too long, not too short, and it taught me many new things about the band that I did not know, and helps maybe color in the video a little bit as we go. Again, before we get into the ranking itself, we're going to take a look at Nothing Safe, greatest hits and unreleased compilation. And there's a song, Get Born Again, on here. That is one of the last songs, actually maybe even the last song Layne Staley ever recorded before he passed away. There's another song of those final 2 songs called Died, which is not on here. It's on the Music Bank compilation, which we'll refer to again in just a minute. Speaking of memories, there's a song on here called What the Hell Have I? That was originally on the Last Action Hero soundtrack, that movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger from like 1993. And that cassette of the Last Action Hero soundtrack was probably one of the first 4 or 5 releases I ever picked up. And there was not one, but 2 Alice in Chains songs on there. What the Hell Have I? And another unreleased song called A Little Bitter. On that Music Bank compilation that I don't own, another good unreleased song is called Social Parasite. Pretty different for Alice in Chains, but a good song nonetheless. And I guess the final song I want to talk about is Fear the Voices. It's an outtake from the Dirt album written by Mike Starr. I learned a lot about that song from the book, and seems like Mike wanted to get a writing credit on the album, and I believe the whole band is credited for Rain When I Die, but in any case, Mike really wanted to get that song on the album, and in the end, it didn't make the cut. But I gotta say, I agree it would not fit on Dirt, but that song would have fit perfectly on Facelift, and in fact, I like Fear the Voices better than several songs on the Facelift album. So, time for our ranking. Number 9, the 5th album from 2013, The Devil Put Dinosaurs Here. So, Layne Staley, original vocalist, did the first 3 full-length albums, and vocalist William Duvall would handle vocals on the 4th, 5th, and 6th album, and he is the singer to this very day. So this album here, I kind of think of like an alternate reality where Lane Staley never passed away, and after the self-titled album, Alice in Chains like temporarily goes a little mainstream. That's how this album feels to me. A very late 90s rock album that's lacking quite a bit of the darkness of Alice in Chains. Even still, I think it's a solid album. The title track is probably my favorite one on here. I also like Lab Monkey. The vocals definitely bring to mind Angry Chair. I think the album begins and ends on kind of a weak note, but there's another little spree in the middle of the album here. You have Low Ceiling, Breath on a Window, Scalpel, Phantom Limb. Those are like 4 solid tracks in a row. So I'm probably not going to put this album on very often unless I'm in the mood for listening to everything Alice in Chains, but a solid rock album. What's our number 8?
Number 8 is Sap.
Sap, the EP from 1992. I believe Patrick's favorite song on here is Brother, and I gotta go with Got Me Wrong, which you can also find on the Unplugged album. And I don't know if this album is entirely acoustic. Maybe that's like an obvious thing, I'm not sure, but it's more of an acoustic thing than anything. Some vocal guest appearances here on one track, most notably Chris Cornell. You definitely know him as soon as you hear him. And I don't know if it's on all the versions, but we do have a 5th hidden track on this CD, which is pretty bad. But overall, a lot of people love Sap. I kind of put it here with that, where unless I'm kind of in the mood for Alice in Chains, I'm probably not going to grab it. What's our number 7?
Number 7 is Rainier Fog.
Rainier Fog, the 6th and most recent album from 2018. I think my favorite song on here is the opener, The One You Know. I think that's got a really strong chorus. I also would say Never Fades, a really good track. And then Red Giant and Drone are kind of second tier songs, which I also quite like. Number 6.
Black is Way Too Blue.
Yep, the 4th album from 2009. William Duvall's first album with the band. And some people will tell you that this is one of the best Alice in Chains releases of them all. And again, these albums are kind of coming in near the bottom, but it's no disrespect. Totally like what Alice in Chains is doing now. And you know what? I have never seen them live in any form, and I hope the current incarnation does come through town at least one more time before they call it a day. I'd love to go check that out with you. So, what's your favorite song on here?
Check my brain.
Yep, that's a good one. Really the chorus on that one, even though I really don't like that riff. And that riff is, that style of riff is actually something I find kind of prevalent on these more recent Alice in Chains albums. I like Check My Brain as well, but my second favorite song has got to be Your Decision. Other solid tracks are Last of My Kind and Private Hell. The song I really dislike on here is Acid Bubble. What's our number 5?
Number 5 is the Unplugged Alice in Chains album.
Yep, from 1996. You can hold that for me? So what's your favorite song on here?
My favorite song is Wood.
Wood, okay. Yeah, I think we both agree that it's a very strong rendition of Rooster on here. And my favorite song is going to be Over Now. I love the studio version, but Something about the acoustic one just makes it its own. I like it almost as much as the original. And these Unplugged albums, I gotta say, the Alice in Chains Unplugged is my personal favorite, with Kiss Unplugged coming in at a close second. Okay, so we're getting into the classic territory by most fans' estimation. What's our number 4?
Our number 4 is Jar of Flies.
Yep. The EP from 1994. So, from here on out, we're going to talk a little bit more in detail. Number 1, Rotten Apple. I believe that is your favorite song off of this.
Yep.
Nutshell. One of the band's most well-known songs, and that's got to be my favorite on here. Such a sad song, but you keep listening to it, though, because it's just beautiful. I Stay Away, not as good as the first two, but another classic, along with another track on here. Definitely bringing in some strings. No Excuses. Love that song. Again, my introduction to the band. Love Jerry's solo on here. Whale and Wasp, kind of more of a guitar interlude, but nice and atmospheric. Final 2 songs, Don't Follow and Swing on This. Definitely the low point of the EP. But this is a classic, but those final 2 songs make it a less than perfect EP. Top 3 time. Now I gotta say, our number 3 and our number 2, I mean, this thing's basically a tie. You want Facelift if it's a kick-ass rock album for the car. It's gonna be the self-titled if you want a dark masterpiece. And a totally underrated album, if you ask me. But at the end of the day, what's our number 3?
Our number 3 is Facelift.
Facelift, the debut album from 1990. What is your favorite song?
Man in the Box.
You know what? Yeah, like, it's one of those songs that is overplayed, but I am still not bored of it. It's just kind of weird. I find how, when I was a kid, classic rock radio was all, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, stuff like that. Classic rock radio now is Pearl Jam, Nirvana, Alice in Chains. Hear it all the time on the radio, even though I never listen to the radio. But you still come across it. So, what an incredible first half of the album. We Die Young, Man in the Box, Sea of Sorrow, Bleed the Freak. That is probably my favorite song on here, along with the opener, We Die Young. I Can't Remember. So that is 5 Stone Cold classics in a row. Every song is good on here, but number 6, Love, Hate, Love, to me, a step down. That goes for It Ain't Like That. But then back to 10 out of 10s with Sunshine. And then there are a couple songs that are not as good near the end. So I think this album is more of like a 9.5. Not really a 10 out of 10. You got a reference, I Know Something About You. I like that song, but it's really weird on the album. It's total Guns N' Roses meets Red Hot Chili Peppers. What's our number 2?
It is the self-titled album, Alice in Chains.
Yep. Don't know what happened to my backing. I think I got it like soaked in water and it just kind of crumbled away. I bought this album like the month it came out in 1995. I must have been 13 at the time. And this album is I know people regard it as a classic, but I still consider it fairly underrated. Look at the track listing here. You have Grind, that was the lead single. Brush Away. That is one of my favorite songs for sure. Next one.
My favorite is Sludge Factory.
Yep, the third song. Nice and heavy for sure. And I also like the Sludge Factory on Unplugged. That's right. Heaven Beside You, Head Creeps. Again, this is a real negative album. Very depressing, especially my number one song, God Am. Depressing lyrics, vocal performance, but more than anything, it's just Jerry's sorrowful guitar. It really takes a lot out of you. And that goes for Over Now. Sad song, no matter how you slice it, but what really drives it home is Jerry's guitar throughout. Okay. Number one.
Dirt.
Yep, no surprises. 99.9%. And I don't think that's too far off. Alice in Chains fans, it's their favorite album. One of the best albums of the 90s. The thing is, it's just completely undeniable. I know these are popular songs, but like you put on Rooster and Wood for just complete, just someone who doesn't like rock music, just say, check these songs out. And they're going to say, wow, who is this? Guaranteed. Them Bones, Damn That River, two of the heaviest songs. Right now, probably my two favorites. What a Way to Start the Album. Rain When I Die, Sick Man. What are some of your favorites?
My favorites is Wood and Dumb Bones.
Nice. Ends with the iconic Wood. Now, it's probably easier to try to find my least favorite song. And through the years, usually I'd say on some days Dirt, some days Godsmack. But last couple times I listened to the album, it's kind of changed. I'd say the worst song on the album is Hate to Feel. But it's still an awesome song. 10 out of 10 album. One of my top 50 albums ever. And if you're one of the few people watching this that hasn't listened to it, you better get on that. So, that's it for Alice in Chains. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.
Bye.